welcome back to an all new video. If you are new here, hi, hello, my name is Carrie, nice to meet you. And if you've been here before, welcome on back to my channel. Today, we are going to be discussing big life changes in life and all of the feelings that come up when we go through these changes, which are a lot of different feelings, and change is inevitable as human beings. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into the conversation. As most of you know, but some of you may not know, my husband and I have been living in New Zealand for a little bit over 3 months now. We made the big decision to move to New Zealand back in 2019, but of course, because of COVID, we had to wait a bit longer than we expected, and we were able to make it here January of this year. As we go through life, there are different things that come up for us, whether it be opportunities that we create for ourselves or something that just comes up along our path that we can go down that road or not. We get to make the decisions. And I think what can be really scary about being a human being is that we are really the ones that are in charge of our story. And of course, I feel like faith and the universe play into these decisions a lot. I believe in that heavily, but I also know that we are in charge of the choices that we make, and that can feel really daunting, and that can feel like a lot of responsibility. In life, we have to make a lot of choices. There might be opportunities that we've created for ourselves or opportunities that kind of have fallen in our path, and what road we decide to take is a big decision. And these are big choices in life, and that feels like a lot of responsibility sometimes. What choices we make in life are going to obviously dictate our life story, and that can make huge impacts. Whatever this big life change might be for you, it could be going through a big breakup, it could be switching career paths, it could be moving cities, whatever it might be. With these more difficult decisions that you're making, of course, you're going to have these more difficult emotions coming up, but also within that, you're going to be creating a space for incredible growth as a human being and so much opportunity for yourself that you didn't even realize existed. One of the first complicated emotions that came up for me when we decided to move to New Zealand was self-doubt and a lot of questioning myself. I knew that it's what my heart wanted, but my mind kept questioning my heart, which I think is really common for us as people. If you notice the light is changing in this video, it's because the weather is actually changing right before my eyes, and that happens a lot here in New Zealand. It can be a sunny day, and then it can get overcast, and then it can rain on the drop of a hat. Some of you watching right now may have followed along on my Moving Countries series, where I brought you guys along in preparing to move to New Zealand. And within those videos, I candidly spoke to you guys about how I had recently started seeing a therapist, and I had thought about seeing a therapist so many different times throughout my life, but I guess I always told myself that my problems weren't problems enough to see a therapist, which I know is so silly and ridiculous to think about now. There were so many different times throughout my life that it would have benefited me, but I felt like if there was ever a time, like now was the time while I was making this huge life decision, because I had so many questions and anxieties and stress around this big life change, and I really wanted to talk to somebody outside of my direct circle. And not only did I get to work through the feelings that I was experiencing right then, but I also was able to go back and talk to her about different things that I had experienced through life, and it just felt extremely liberating for me. And that's why I'm so happy to be working with BetterHelp to create this video for you. BetterHelp is available for clients worldwide, which is incredible, and they will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating with them within 48 hours. It is not a crisis line, it's not self-help, it is professional counseling done securely online. BetterHelp is more affordable than your traditional online counseling, and financial aid is available if needed. BetterHelp is committed to helping you find the right therapeutic match for you. Obviously, therapy, it's like dating. You want to find the right person for you to talk to. So BetterHelp makes this easy by making it free to change counselors if needed. I love that BetterHelp just wants you to start living a happier life today. So you can visit betterhelp.com/rad. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RAD, and join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. You can get 10% off of your first month with BetterHelp by going to betterhelp.com/rad. I will put the link to it in my description box. I have decided to move inside because my camera was just getting too hot and it kept turning off because the sun was just beating right on it and it was just too hot, huh? Oh yes. A Brené Brown quote that I really love is, "Loving ourselves through the process of owning our story is the bravest thing we will ever do." And that's why I think talking about self-love and owning our story and accepting our story and what we want out of our life is so important when we're making big changes and going through these pivotal moments in our lives, because it can be really easy to listen to other people's opinions, right? People that we love, people that are really important to us in life might say little comments here or there or say big things to really try to urge you into one direction or the other, and then at the end of the day, that's not your choice, or you're going to not make this change because of someone else, and that will live within you for the rest of your life. Now, these big changes don't have to be positive ones. Big changes can be difficult changes, like going through a big breakup. I went through a huge breakup when I was in my early 20s. It was the best decision that I've made, one of the best decisions that I've made, because it's led me to where I am here today, which is where I'm supposed to be and where I am so extremely happy. And I wouldn't have been able to meet the love of my life if I didn't make that choice. But during the time, it felt right but wrong, you know, because it was hard. And there are choices that we make in life where our heart knows it's right, but our mind questions everything. The more we're taking care of ourselves through the process of change, the more grounded we're going to feel, which is going to help us make the decisions, the right decisions that we feel are right for ourselves through the process. The next feelings that come up when dealing with big life changes, at least for me, were fear and guilt. And guilt was really interesting for me because I did not expect that very much so at all. Now for me, of course, because I was moving to a new country, guilt was involved in that, but guilt set in more than I thought it would. And it was really interesting because a couple days ago I posted onto my stories and I asked my viewers what you guys would like to see around self-love, and I got so many responses about guilt. Obviously, there are tons of different reasons why people can experience guilt in their life, and sometimes your guilt is very valid. But when you're making a big choice in life and it's something that you want to do, but guilt sets in, it can be so complicated because it's what you want to do, but you are thinking about other people through the process and how they are going to feel about your decision. And this is very much so when it comes to moving countries, but it also exists in, like I mentioned before, a breakup. It exists in changing career paths. Maybe your parents wanted you to do something and you've decided you want to do something else. So it can exist in so many different areas of life, and when we make these big leaps into a different direction. And for me, I have had to work through it in a way of realizing that your path and your heart and where your heart is trying to take you is where you're supposed to be going. And fear. Oh, there can be some pretty scary times when you're making big changes. One, Brené Brown, again, I love her, quote that I really love is, "Faith is a place of mystery, where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty." Fear and uncertainty are best friends. When we don't know the outcome of something, we're going to be fearful of it. And what I've really been paying attention to in my life right now is to embrace the uncertainty and to look at uncertainty as opportunity. And when we make this mindset shift, it can truly change everything. It can change our life completely. We still have a lot of uncertainty around our future here in New Zealand. And a couple months ago, I was stressed and I was anxious about just wanting to know where we're going to end up and what our place will look like. We're still here at Alex's family batch. We've been looking at tons of different pieces of land and property in different areas of New Zealand that we want to live, and nothing has felt completely right yet. We've seen things that we would love, but also the market is crazy, just like everywhere all over the world right now. I had a mindset shift where I realized that there is beauty in uncertainty. And you really have to kind of train your mind to think this way, but it does change your life. When you wake up in the morning, your daily thought isn't what is today going to hold. Because on a daily basis, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what each hour will hold. Anything can change. And I think we just have to lean into the mystery of that. What I've noticed about myself was once I was able to shift my mind into realizing that the mystery of the future is actually a positive thing and it provides opportunity, I was able to start living more present and more intentionally because I wasn't constantly having anxiety about the future. I was much more in my world at that moment, thinking, okay, I'm here right now. How can I make this moment, this time that I'm in right now, the best it can be for myself, right? And for the people that I love around me. How can I embrace what I'm going through right this second and stop skipping to the next part of my story? Life is not easy. It's quite complicated, and I know that you guys know that. But I'm just saying that kind of matter-of-factly. And over the last year, it's been more complicated than ever before. It's also made us all take a step back and think about how we are living life, how we were living life, that there were so many people just going, okay, this was not serving me. You know, this overworking myself or overanalyzing my future, or, you know, all these things that we all just kind of have to go like, are we okay? Like, we all have to kind of check in with ourselves, make sure we're good, make the big changes where they need be, and trust in the process, trust ourselves, and trust our hearts. And that's kind of the moral of the story here. And I guess that's what I wanted to talk to you guys all about, because a lot of your feedback, you know, you guys told me you wanted to talk more about self-love stuff, and when I asked about the topics, a lot of it had to do with navigating all of these crazy things that we have to go through in life. And I like to just candidly chat with you guys sometimes and check in with you and let you know how I'm feeling and how my heart is too. And like, you know, I was vulnerable in this video about, you know, where I've been and how I've felt too, and how I've kind of overcome that. And I hope that that helps you guys in your journeys, even if they look different than mine. And change is inevitable, but change is so difficult for so many people. Even the internet never likes change, you know, like they'll have a content creator or influencer, for lack of a better term, that they love to follow, and then change will happen, and then people will feel so weird about the change, like maybe, you know, the content creator is a mom now, or is, you know, left a certain like group that they were in and now they're doing their own thing, whatever it might be. People don't normally love change, but it's inevitable. And I think that what's important is remembering that people who are going through change are actually going to grow so much, and if anything, it's better to stick around with those people who are going through change, because they're going to be able to offer you so much more than they were before, because of just being out of their comfort zone, out of their element of comfort, and just being able to like spread their wings and become what they're supposed to be. So I want to say thank you for sticking around and embracing this change and being so supportive throughout this process. It feels really special because, of course, I thought of you guys when I was making this big leap of faith, and I wondered what you guys would think about it and if you guys would still stick around through the journey, and you totally have, and you guys have been nothing but wonderful, and I'm not surprised at all because I truly feel like I have like the coolest people in the world who are subscribed, who watch my videos. And so thank you very much for being the coolest, and I will see you guys very soon in a new video. Also, thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Truly appreciated, and I will see you guys very soon in a new video. See you soon. Bye.